Welcome back to your Hofstra Vibes Family Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Helmendaler. I'm a first-year master's student in Hofstra's Forensic Linguistics program, and I'm also the grad assistant in the Office of Intercultural Engagement and Inclusion. And today we have a super exciting guest. This is Cait Sullivan. She's the Executive Director of Student Access Services. How are you today, Cait?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So, Student Access Services, often known as SAS or on campus, what is that?
Student Access Services, well, we are the department that provides accommodations and services to students with disabilities.
So what qualifies as a disability, both like for here at the school at Hofstra or just generally?
A disability is actually a legal term. A disability is defined by a mental or a physical impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities.
Who decides what a disability is? Is it the school?
It's not the school. It's anything that would rise to the level of physically impairing something that you would need to do on a day-to-day basis. So it is actually defined by the DSM-5. There are 7 disability types. And in those 7 disability types, lots and lots and lots of different types of disabilities.
You said that SAS helps students connect with accommodations. How might accommodations look different from high school compared to now college?
We do know that the transition from high school to college is a huge one in a lot of ways, and accommodations is no different. In high school, the schools actually identify a student with disabilities and they identify the accommodations needed, and they actually even go so far as to implement them for students. In high school, students are protected under a different set of laws. It's called IDEA laws. In college, we're operating now under a different set of laws. We're operating under the ADA and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. So it's now the student's responsibility to self-identify their own disability and also request their accommodations, and then request the use of their accommodations themselves. So a lot of self-advocacy. One more thing that's really important to note, a big difference that in high schools can guarantee success. In college, we can no longer guarantee success, but we can guarantee equal access. And that's what those laws are there to protect. And that's what my department is responsible to ensure across campus for students with disabilities.
And so you also said self-advocacy. I just want to clarify, does that mean it's totally up to the student to request those accommodations?
100%, but not to say that they are alone on an island, because that's what myself and my team is there for, and of course the wonderful faculty on campus and our administrative partners as well. But it is the student's responsibility to advocate, let us know that they have a disability, and we can help guide them through the process of requesting accommodations, letting them know what accommodations are available to them, and of course, how to utilize them as well.
Could you give me a couple examples of what an accommodation could look like for a student? So maybe an example of like a physical disability and also some kind of like neurological or developmental disability.
Some examples of accommodations for academic could be things like extended time on an exam, note-taking assistance. We do use a lot of assistive technology, so things like speech-to-text, screen reader for exams. The thing about assistive technology, it allows for independence and autonomy. Those are things that students can take with them out into the boardroom, the real world with them, not to be reliant on other people. Some example of physical accommodations, because it's really important to remember that it's not just about note-taking assistance and extended time, but physical access too. So we could put things in place like classes in close proximity when back-to-back. So we don't have a student trying to get from point A to point B when they only have 10 minutes in between classes, and perhaps they're using a mobility device and they may not be as quick as some other students. We can ensure that students are on a first floor for their classrooms or in a building with working elevators, things like that. Also talk about housing accommodations, because that's also a big part of university life, right? Communal living. So ensuring that students have what they need inside the residence hall. Another one that comes up things like dietary modifications, right? So we're here to live, learn, eat, and have fun. So we have accommodations to put in place so students have equal access across all arenas of university life.
Yeah, I'm really happy that Hofstra has a program like that to make sure that students do have equal access. And so for the student, what is that process going to look like? Like, when should they apply for an accommodation, and like what forms do they have to submit?
So as far as requesting reasonable accommodations, I would encourage students to have a conversation with our office even before they become a Hofstra student. When they're on their college search process, come stop by, see us, have an intake meeting, an informal accommodations meeting. We would love to chat with you about the accommodations you have used in the past, and what kind of accommodation needs you may have on our campus. But the time to formally request accommodations is after a student has been accepted to Hofstra and has made their commitment by depositing as a Hofstra student. But it doesn't stop there. A student can request an accommodation at any time during their tenure as a Hofstra student. It could be 4 days before their graduation. Of course, that would be unusual, but a student can change or modify or make an addition to their accommodation plan for as long as they are a Hofstra student. That includes, grad school, further degrees, continuing ed, any participation as a Hofstra student.
Two really exciting programs that SAS offers to students are PALS and academic coaching. So could you explain those a little bit?
Absolutely. In accordance with those federal laws that I mentioned before, every college and university is required to provide equal access to students through the implementation of reasonable accommodation. Not every college and university provides additional fee-based services, but Hofstra does. We provide 2 fee-based programs. PALS is the first fee-based program, and that's an admissions program. So it is designed to be a 4-year program or beyond. Students can participate, should they take 5-6 years to receive their degree, and they can also continue participating in it as a grad student. They would begin their interest in that when they apply for Hofstra as a first-year student. And there is an application process to go along with that. PALS is designed for students with disabilities whose primary challenges are ADHD and learning disabilities. PALS is a program that provides one-on-one support for students where they work with a learning specialist as well as the whole Student Access Services team, but we really take a collaborative approach with the PALS program, meaning that there is a coordinated support with the academic advisors, faculty, Center for Academic Excellence, tutoring, and all the other resources on the college campus to ensure that students are strengthening their academic skills.
And what does it stand for?
Program for Academic Learning. So that's the PALS program. Academic coaching is more of a short-term program. There is no formal application process, although there is limited seating, and it is a semester-by-semester program. It is not designed to be a long-term program, and there is no disability documentation required for that program. Any student can take advantage of it. It is designed to help students strengthen their study skills, their time management skills, and it's a great opportunity for students who may need a little bit more support transitioning from high school to college, or maybe students who need help getting back on track after a more challenging semester, or students who have kicked it into high gear with perhaps their major courses and they've felt the inertia of the shift of labor of their courses. So that's what the academic coaching program is.
Are there any other programs that SAS offers that you're really excited about?
Those are the 2 fee-based programs that we offer. And within those programs, we do a lot of programming, which is the same word, but meaning a little bit different, that we are excited about. We have a series called Special Topics, where we host a partner from campus each week to come in and do a workshop on their expertise. We invite the students from our PALS and academic coaching program to participate in that and learn a little bit about that person's little corner of campus. So that's something we're excited about.
Very, very cool. And so just kind of starting to wrap things up here, I know that if a parent is listening to this podcast, they might hear this and feel a little bit scared that there's a little level of hands-off that is taking place in college compared to high school. So how may parents of students with disabilities support their student while they're here?
I like the way you phrased that, hands-off. You know what? I would maybe rephrase that from perhaps a little bit of the parents' hands-off, but our hands-on. So your students are in great hands here at Hofstra. At the Student Access Services, we really, really, really understand that you have been advocating for your student for 17, maybe 18 years now. And we also understand the challenges you have faced. We know what it's like to be in a special ed classroom and to fight for services for your students. And so we can really relate to that. My advice to the parents listening of how to support students with disabilities at the college level is your job advocating isn't done, but I would ask for a shift to advocate for us now. Encourage your students to come to the student access office instead of your instinct to pick up the phone and reach out to us or pick up the phone and contact a faculty because you know what your students need and you understand their academic strengths and weaknesses. To change that role and advocate for the student access services. Encourage your student to walk into our office, pick up the phone, send an email, send a text message to us. As long as they connect with us, they are in good hands and we can take it from here. We do want to strengthen your students' ability to advocate and to understand their own needs so they can flex that muscle themselves. And it's also not beyond us. That is a big transition for parents too. So we're here to guide you in that transition as well.
Absolutely. And how can a parent or a student get in touch with SAS? Like, do you have a website? Where can we find you?
We have a great website with lots and lots of information. We've worked hard on making good updates on it, adding our guidelines and streamlining our request processes, making sure that we're eliminating any barriers, making things as simple as possible. So please visit us at hofstra.edu/SAS. You can always email us at sas@hofstra.edu. And of course, you can reach us by phone as well. We are always a phone call or an email away. So please do not hesitate to reach out.
And in person, you've just moved to Roosevelt, is that right?
Oh, we sure did. How could I have forgotten to mention that? It's actually the most exciting thing to happen all year. We have a brand new testing center, which really boasts our accessible place for students to take accommodated testing in a distraction-reduced environment in a more appropriate place in the heart of the academic side of campus. So yes, if you are on campus, please come stop by in Roosevelt Hall, right behind Bon Pan.
Very, very exciting. Cait, thank you so much for being here today. I've loved having you on.
Hope to be back soon.
Absolutely. All right, thank you so much for listening to your Hofstra Vibes Family Podcast. My name is Jenny Helmendaller, and we'll see you next time.